Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's California EDD Unemployment Q&A Live. We'll also probably touch on the Golden State Stimulus and Exclusion Pay, which replaces kind of COVID sick pay if you were exposed or caught COVID from your place of employment. I really want to encourage everybody to please log on to your UI online accounts today. The 1099-Gs, which we need when we file our taxes, are available on UI Online. If you haven't logged on for a while, you're probably going to need to reset your password to your EDD account. I tried to log on yesterday and I forgot my password and got logged out, so I need to deal with that today. But you are going to need your 1099-G when you file taxes, and unfortunately this year, they're not talking about any unemployment refund. They're not talking about forgiving any of that unemployment money. And even when we checked the box to have taxes withheld here in California, it only withheld 10%, and it only withheld it out of the weekly benefit amount. It didn't withhold it out of the extra $300 weekly boost. And I'm not necessarily saying that you're going to owe this year. It's really different on everybody's situation. So for me, I went back to work, and I'm normally wind up paying most of my taxes in about the 20% tax bracket. And so if you're somebody who went back to work at your regular job and you're working full time, the 10% that the EDD took out might not be enough. If you're somebody who hasn't gone back to work yet, then it might be enough. It just really depends. It's going to depend on if you have dependents or not. So there's a lot of factors going into how that will affect your personal tax situation. But go ahead and, last year I kind of encouraged people to wait to file their taxes because they were talking about forgiving some tax, some unemployment money. But this year they're not talking about a tax refund. So I don't see a reason to wait this time. What else did I want to say this morning? If you've gone back to work and you've been exposed to COVID in the workplace and you're in California, which most of you are, you might be eligible for something called exclusion pay. You guys should definitely talk to your employer about that. My favorite pair of glasses broke last night. Kent, you're welcome. Hi, Bonnie. Did you get your book? I finally mailed it. So you guys, I gave out a copy of Jenny Silver's book. I made a video about giving it away. I still have my copy here on the counter. I have not gone to take the third copy to the library to donate like I need to do. And again, I think I have this linked in the description. Jenny Silver's children's book is called Tell Me What the Earth is Saying. And you guys, if you want your own copy, can buy it on Amazon. So, but yeah, Bonnie, I did finally get that in the mail, and it should have actually reached you yesterday. Sugar Sprinkles, good to see you in here. Thank you for joining me. I went live on TikTok the other day. Yeah, I love red. I really do. And this says little hearts on it. For Valentine's Day, I guess, is the next holiday coming up. I'm not ready for that. It's a little big. I think it's supposed to have anyway, whatever. Nice little button details. It's super cute. So I love, oh no, well, Bonnie, I put it in the mail and it really should have been there yesterday. So now I'm annoyed with the post office, but it's on its way. And what else did we need to talk about today? You know what? These glasses, so my eyes are changing, right? And these glasses, I can't read the comments. I can't read small print with these. So I guess I'm gonna have to flip these up on my head. A lot of you just saying good morning. Hi, Lady D. Hi, Mel. Mel's friend got the letter that their documents were received. Now, her friend turned in an affidavit. I think it's a he. So where is it? I have it somewhere here. He turned in an affidavit, but he also turned in, he was like a musician, I think. So he turned in canceled concerts and like that type of thing. So he was able to supply some backup information as well. Let's see. Okay. Okay, he had his affidavit notarized. He submitted the concert events that he was supposed to play at. He submitted some emails and the cancellations of those concerts. And he got notified that it was accepted. Now, as far as I know, I haven't watched her most recent videos. I believe that Jenny Silver is still waiting to see if her documents were received for PUA proof of self-employment. I don't think she's received that yet. I know another friend of mine who submitted her tax returns really early. She hasn't heard yet either if those documents were approved. And many people are starting to get antsy, and so they're calling the California EDD. And when they do call the EDD, they're being told that, like Mel was saying, no news is good news. The reps, have actually been telling people that they won't send out a letter if your documents qualify. That shouldn't be true. You know, we've had plenty of times where the reps have not been accurate in the past. I know it's been a while since I've gone over an EDD news release, but this is in their news release from January 13th, which is 3 days ago. Maybe I'll still go over this. It says, claimants should gather all necessary documents before, you guys, I do this when I need to remember something, before uploading them to the EDD. Once the claimant electronically signs the form in UI Online and selects Finish, it is not possible to reopen and upload additional documents. If documents reach federal requirements, claimants will receive a notice confirming eligibility. So, right there in writing, the EDD is saying that they will send you something confirming your eligibility. I did this because I want to say that if you have friends who haven't logged on to their EDD portal, their EDD UI Online account in a long time, please make sure that they are doing that. One, they need the tax document, the 1099-G, when they file taxes this year. And two, they sent out 1.4 million notices to PUA recipients, reminding them to submit documents to prove employment or self-employment as required by federal law. Nearly 1 in 5 responded, and over 90% of those were found eligible. So the thing is, though, 1.4 million, that's only about 200 out of over a million people, only about 250,000 have responded. So that's a really low number. I don't think that many PUA claims were not on the up and up. So that just means either you guys are lagging, which I don't want you to do, and I don't want to say you guys are lagging. I know most of you in here have done it, but I feel like people that you know, maybe they haven't. They really need to get going on that. And if they don't have anything, the affidavit that you're going to fill out yourself, if that's the only thing that you can send, then send it. You need to send something, and that deadline's coming up. I want to say that deadline is January 19th. So please, if you haven't uploaded your proof of employment documents, log onto your UI Online and get that done. It's Sunday. Hopefully you guys have like a chill day planned today. So today might be a good day to get that done. It's gonna make Baby Yoda sad if you, here's the thing, right? I know I'm like joking. I'm gonna get the Baby Yoda already this morning, but I don't want any of you guys, first of all, like it's a stress and a worry, right? To not have sent it in. So just get that out of the way today. Write that affidavit. If you need to reference the video, go ahead and do that. It's 6 easy steps. I want you guys to submit something, right? I don't want you guys to be like, I don't want it to be 2023 and we still don't know if your documents were accepted or not, right? Because although they're saying that they've moved through 90% of the documents that they've only received 250,000 approximately out of over 1 million. So the majority of people have not submitted documentation. That it also worries me because I don't want I don't want over 1 million people to get an overpayment notice because that's going to be even more stress, right? So let's get that done, guys. All right. Thank you, Mel, for the donation. You are so sweet. That is not necessary. Actually, if you guys could hold any donations that you're thinking about doing today, because tomorrow I'm participating in the Betty White Challenge. Guys, like the video real quick while I tell you about the Betty White Challenge. So, what the Betty White Challenge is tomorrow would have been Betty White's 100th birthday. And so there's like a movement, the Betty White Challenge, where they're asking people to go on and donate to like an animal shelter or animal sanctuaries or like causes. I say causes because I chose a cause for animals, not a shelter. And I'll tell you why in a second. So, all of tomorrow's live, everything that I make from the video, I'm going to donate to charity, to a cause, and that causes guide dogs for the blind. And the reason why I chose them, quite honestly, is because the picture that I used for the thumbnail, I actually got my act together and I pre planned that. So you guys might see the thumbnail for that video already when I go live tomorrow, Monday, January 17th at 9 p.m. All that money is going to go to the Betty White Challenge and Guide Dogs to the Blind because the picture that I used is borrowed from a shoot that she did for them. Okay. Good morning, Edward. Kent, again, thank you. Followed my instructions on how to write an affidavit, and you were approved. That's so awesome. I really love hearing that, you guys. Okay, Anthony says, if you had federal taxes taken out, how much would you owe? I lost my place already. You're probably gonna owe a lot, huh? Not necessarily. It really depends. It really, really depends on your individual tax situation, how many dependents you have. I know you did go back to work for a little while. So it just really depends on how it all shakes out at the end, right? Something else I do want to caution you guys of is that in the state of California, if you haven't carried health insurance this year, there is a penalty for not having health insurance, and it starts at $800 for adults and $400 for children 18 and younger. So please check out Covered California if you haven't already. I actually think open enrollment may have closed, but check it out. See if they can make an exception. Make sure that you've got health insurance going into 2022. Minneapolis Luke, has anyone been sent to jail for working and collecting EDD? Well, anyone ever is a really broad statement. Perhaps, I would say that that's really extreme. I would say that the courts are backed up. I would just explain how you accidentally were doing both at the same time. My guess is that this is a guess that the people that are going to jail for unemployment entanglements, let's call them, if somebody's going to jail for that, my guess is really that they're like a ringleader of like a group that's caught up in an entanglement, not probably not an individual. They can, it says that online, but I haven't heard of anybody actually going to jail for that kind of thing. Um, X Vals, is EDD still taking applications? Because you see people applying for claims and getting paid. So, yeah, I mean, unemployment has always been available. PUA benefits for the self employed or for people who aren't working, that program went away. But if you've gone back to work and you've since lost your job through no fault of your own and your benefit year is over, then yes, you could apply again. And again, though, it's just the weekly benefit amount now with no boost. So I think people would really have trouble kind of making ends meet. And the other thing that I wanted to say about that is a lot of people are still requesting backdating on their claims. So people are like, well, how do I get my claim balance? And there's not necessarily a way to get that claim balance, but if you backdate your claim and you have a valid reason why you didn't apply when you were first eligible, they might approve that backdating and then you might get some more money. Yeah, talk about PUA is on pause. They're not talking about extending that program. So for a while, when they were talking about the new stimulus package, they were talking about unemployment reform. And by reform, it was going to be some computer upgrades and staffing and things like that, as well as permanently adding an option for people who are self-employed to be able to collect unemployment benefits. But as of right now, they're no longer talking about that. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. So if you guys would like the video, I would appreciate that. Anthony says, you made 28,000, but EDD only took 1,600 in federal taxes. So you're probably going to owe a lot. Not necessarily, because on the first, I want to say $9,999. I don't have the tax brackets in front of me. That's something that I really am interested in. So on the first of all, you're also going to have your standard deduction. So if you made $28,000 the whole year, and that includes the money, bad grandpa was a truck driver. So if that includes the money that you got from truck driving and it includes all of your unemployment, keep in mind that the EDD doesn't sorry. First, you're gonna have your deduction, right? And I think you're married because you reference bad grandma. So I'm single, so I'm more familiar with how taxes for a single person work. But you're gonna have your deduction. And even for a single person, I wanna say that that's $12,000. So, and again, I'm not a tax professional, so these numbers are estimates. So 28,000. First of all, you're not going to get taxed on the first 12,000 of it because that's your standard deduction. So that brings you down to $16,000. Of that $16,000, the first $10,000 would be taxed at 10%. And then the remaining $6,000 would be taxed at, I don't remember the tax brackets at all, like 12%, 14, 15%. It's not taxed at like a really, really high rate. So 10% of 10,000 would be 1,000. And then let's even do 1,500. Sorry, 6,000 times 15%. That's what I meant to say. That would be another $900. So maybe in taxes in total, you'd owe $1,900. And then from that, they subtract however much you've already paid. So my guess is that the truck driving company withheld some money for your taxes. And my guess is that hopefully you checked the box to have some taxes withheld. So it really depends. And of course, I'm sure that the standard deduction for married couples is higher than for single people. So it really has so many factors. And then do you have anybody that you can claim as a dependent? Vanessa says, EDD mega tax bill this year. It's scary. Even if we did click the box to contribute 10%, as the boost will still be taxed. Ouch. Yes. But again, like if unemployment was your only source of income, so I did the math the other day, and it's possible that you won't wind up owing anything. You might not get a big refund, but it's also possible that you're not going to owe anything. It's just everybody's tax situation is different. For me, one of the reasons why I'm going to get hit really big is I had the YouTube income, I had the claimer referral income, I had every free stock that I get. If you guys use my Weeble link, I have to pay taxes on that. So, and then my job like doesn't realize that I have another job, YouTube. So my job, and because of YouTube, I've been able to contribute a lot to my 401k, which was my goal. So I'm hitting that goal. But 401k money isn't taxed when you earn it, it's taxed when you retire. So my job thinks like, oh, she's not making very much money because I'm not allowing myself to keep very much money from my job because I'm using my YouTube income. But since my job doesn't know about my YouTube income, they haven't been taxing me as high as they should have. So I'm going to get hit every which way. You guys might be okay. Try not to be too worried about that. Trisha got her 1099 yesterday. Hi, Debbie. Debbie, we opened a ton of new movies this week, including the new Scream, and none of them are doing well. West Side Story is probably doing really well. And a movie called Belfast. Um, and then Nightmare Alley, we've got the black and white version right now. I'm going to give you guys a clue to where I work right now. We had Benicio del Toro, Benicio del Toro, Guillermo del Toro, come do a couple of Q&As at our location. That was the only shows that were busy this week. Prince Ali. For Uber and Lyft drivers who have so many write-offs, if they didn't save 10% for EDD earnings, they still won't owe much because of all the write-offs. My friend didn't pay much last year. Yes, that's true. And you guys, quite honestly, you guys know, so part of my business coach, aka Jenny Silver, business coach for creatives, I've hired her, right? And I had bought this thing a while ago, this shelf to like have a background to make it more interesting. She was like, Shelly, get that up. I did a short film, a short YouTube short, and I was wearing this the other day. She was like, that color looks good on you. You guys love the red lip on me. It's kind of like my look, and I got away from it for a while. Anyway, whatever. Part of the reason why I hired Jenny at the end of the year, I was like, Jenny, I know that we're not going to meet in public until 2022. I was like, but can I get this invoice paid at the end of 2021 because I want to use that as a tax write-off. So she was like, yes, we can do that. And she invoiced me, and because she's very professional, she's all set up. But that's part of the reason why I was like, yes, I'm going to invest that money in my business. It's so weird to think of YouTube as a business, but I guess it is. She's going to help me with that. I paid her at the end of 2021 so that I could get that write-off so that I don't have to claim, everything that you spend is a deduction when you're self-employed. Clothes are hard to write off. This little green guy, he really just sits here and I pull him out for videos, and I made a video with him. He might be a write-off, but do I want to risk that the tax guy's going to audit me over $14.99? I don't know. But clothes are hard to write off because clothes need to be 100% for business. And like, I'm for sure going to wear this probably on Valentine's Day to work, not on a date. So yeah, but a lot of write-offs when you're self-employed. Thanks, Mel. Hi, Ben. Oh, shoot. Got a spammer in here. Let me take care of that. Okay, Ben says Baby Yoda needs to send us good vibes for PUA documentation issues and the tax bill. All right, so we'll flip him around and we'll put him back and make him happy again. He is, of course, he and I are sending you guys all good vibes. You have to submit documents on 2/12 of 22. So that's less than a month away. And a lot of people's deadline was January 19th. So please, please just make sure that you get that in. Okay, Michael, I'm having a hard time finding the 1099 tab on EDD online. Am I missing something? It should be, am I thinking my company's payroll, like year-end forms? It should be in your messages, I think. Like I said, I'm currently logged out of my account. Once I get in, maybe I'll try and film that for you guys and make a video on that. Where was that last year? I'm sure I have a video on it from last year on where to find that. Okay, use the donation money for Betty. I will. Okay. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Debbie, for the compliment on the blouse. Val, I got to you, but you've asked it a couple times. So is EDD still taking applications? They are. But to get approved, you would need some attachment to the workforce since you filed your original claim. They're always taking applications, not for people who were self-employed or hadn't begun working yet. But if you had started a new job, if you've gone back to work and they laid you off again through no fault of your own or reduced your hours, then it is possible that you would qualify for a new claim. Okay. And it's tomorrow, Mel. Tomorrow night, because that's that would have been Betty White's 100th birthday. So tomorrow it's gonna be all the donations, but I'll use you're good. Don't make another one tomorrow. I will use that for tomorrow. And yeah, I think that'll be fun. I'm hoping okay, I tagged Mr. Beast in the video description because how cool would it be if like Mr. Beast popped in and made like a really large donation during my live stream tomorrow. And I didn't know who Mr. Beast was until I started doing YouTube. I thought he was like somebody that like kids worked with, but he actually does like a lot of charity work. Like he does videos, but he also like prank videos kind of, but he also like really helps people and helps a lot of causes and things. So he's really big on charity. So I tagged him. We'll see what happens. Sprite. If we only made money off of EDD in 2021 and no other income, won't the taxes we owe be more as we don't have any business write-offs? That sucks. So again, not necessarily because you're still going to have your standard deduction. So it's going to be however much you were paid from the EDD and then minus your standard deduction. So you could still wind up not really owing anything or owing very much. So don't be scared to do your taxes. Oh, I didn't see little Rambo in here, but hello. And of course, I've got it filtered by top chat. So let me switch it to live chat and let me take a sip of coffee. That means it's time for you guys to like the video. I lost my place too. So while I find my place, you guys like the video, which is what Sugar Sprinkles is reminding everybody to do. And Sugar Sprinkles, I love your name on TikTok. Her name on TikTok, I hope you don't mind me sharing, is Pickles is Pissed. And do I have my pickle notebook right here? I don't, but I love pickles. So we don't want to make the pickles be pissed off. And then my friend had a bunny rabbit named Pickles. Also, my friend is dealing with heartbreak. I have a friend from Sweden. I made 3 friends all at once randomly from Sweden. They stayed with me for a really long time, and some guy broke her heart. So she was like, "I'm getting on a plane in 2 hours, and I'll be in the US in 12 hours." So I guess I have a Swedish friend coming. Maybe she'll join me on the live tomorrow. And I would love to really talk about the difference in finance between Sweden and the US. Well, maybe not tomorrow night because that's Betty White challenge. Maybe we'll do an extra one. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Good morning, Edward. Thank you for the compliment on the blouse. Alex says, you're in extreme trouble because you never saved money for taxes or clicked the 10% box. I should have, but really needed every dollar in 2021. Don't worry, guys. That's the thing, right? We can't go back in time. We can't have them withhold money yet. So all we can do is work with the tools that we have now. I am going to say this. I don't know if it's possible for a lot of you, but I'm going to throw this out there for anybody who maybe it is possible. Like Bad Grandpa, I'm not sure if this might be an option for you. I mentioned the 401k. Also, I'm not sure about with a Roth IRA. I'd have to look into that. But with a traditional IRA or a 401k, you can actually contribute for the year of 2021 all the way through April of 2022. You just tell the person that you want it to be applied to the tax year of 2021. So, for example, if you have a little bit of money, you could open an IRA and contribute to that, and then you wouldn't be taxed on that money. So I need my whiteboard. But let's say that you put $1,000 into an IRA. That would be $1,000 that you wouldn't be taxed on this year, but at a 10% tax rate, you'd be saving $1,000, and saving and investing is a really good long-term goal. I know a lot of you guys don't have that, but basically $1,000 put into an IRA would equate to about $100 in tax savings. The thing with the IRAs, though, traditional IRAs and 401ks, you can't pull out that money when you need it. So you can't just say, oh, I'll put it in the IRA to save that $100 and then I'll pull it right out. There would be a 10% penalty for doing that, and then it would kind of like break even. So, but if you're able to open an IRA and if you're able to hold it for long term, if you don't need that money right away, that is an option to lower your tax liability. But you might not be in extreme trouble, you know? Don't forget you've got that standard deduction. So that's going to bring the amount you owe down a lot. And the IRS does have payment plans. So you can, if you do turn out to owe, you can arrange to pay it back in like $20 payments every month, something like that. Carla says, how do you prove you were going to get hired, but due to COVID, they didn't hire me when it all started? So what you'd want to do is go to the person, if they're still around, who had offered you the job, and you would the EDD would prefer that your prospective employer fills out the affidavit on your behalf. So you would try to go back to that employer and say, hey, can you write this affidavit for me? And they would say, hey, we offered Carla a job on March 1st. We were getting a training group together. She was supposed to start March 15th, but due to the pandemic, we had to close and we were no longer able to offer her the position. I know that a lot of trouble that people struggle with is the place that was going to hire them is completely closed. So if that's the case, I would do one of two things. One, did they give you a job offer in writing? Like, even for the movie theater, we call people, then we do an interview, and then if we're going to offer them a position, we send them a welcome packet where we tell them like, hey, this is how much parking cost for the day, and please bring your ID on your first day of work, and please wear your black shoes that are closed-toed so that if big heavy box of soda falls on your foot, your tootsies are okay. Like, we send them all that information. So if you have any emails from that person or that company that was going to hire you, that would serve as proof that you had a legitimate job offer. You could print up a copy of that email, you could screenshot that email and include that with your attachments. If you don't have that, and you can't get that person to write an affidavit for you, you're going to have to go the route of writing the affidavit yourself. And I have a very, very good video on that. Someone actually just told me in the comments that it worked. Mel, her friend, used a combination of the instructions in the affidavit video along with some supporting documents, some emails and things, and her friend's claim was approved as well. So basically the steps of the affidavit, dang it, I don't think I have it in front of me. There's 6 steps. Is this it? If this isn't it, I can't do it because you would think that I've gone through it so many times that I would remember it, but I don't. What the heck is even in this? I need to call the wood furniture people. This is my to-do list. What is not done? Go to the gym, go to the doctor's about my ear, go to work, and gather my laundry. I don't know. This is like my planning for 2022. I should make a video about that though. Maybe it would motivate me to get it together. Anyway, the video on how to write an affidavit is linked below. And really it's just like your name, a statement that you're telling the truth, establishing your identity, and then like writing what happened. Okay, I can do this. So the first thing is you're going to write affidavit for proof of employment for EDD benefits. Then you're going to write affidavit of Carla Rodriguez. Then that's where you're going to, that's step one. Step two is craft a statement of identity. So you would say, I, Carla Rodriguez, am 28 years old and I reside in the city of Los Angeles, because you want to establish that you live in California. You could actually write your whole address. Step three is craft a statement of truth. So you would say, I, Carla, swear that this information is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. Step four is where you're going to put the facts. You don't need to go into like a lot of detail. Actually, I'd say that less is more with the EDD. You don't want to tell them too much to confuse them. So you would say, I was going to start at working for Shelly's Millions on March 1st, but due to the pandemic, she was unable to hire me because she no longer felt safe having people that didn't live in her household come and help her. So she retracted the job offer, and I didn't begin my employment with her, or whoever it is, right? Don't use me because I wasn't going to employ you, but that's just an example. Then if you do have any documents that you're going to include, I would put that in the affidavit. I would say, I tried to reach out to the employer, but they are not responding, or I tried to reach out to the employer, but the business is closed permanently. But I have attached a copy of the email that goes over my original job offer. So if you're going to send extra documents with your affidavit, I would spell it out for them what you're including. I would even say, on page 2, I'm including a copy of an email with my job offer. And I then, either before you print or after you print, I would label the affidavit page 1, and then I would label that email page 2. Okay, so that was step 4, is state the facts. And it really just needs to be that simple. Who was going to employ you, when you were going to start, that it was due to the pandemic that they didn't let you start, and that's that. Step 5 is, again, state the statement of truth. So again, you would say, once again, I, Carla, swear that this information is true to the best of my knowledge. This is a legal document. This is a legal statement you're making. So please don't say anything that's not true. And then step 6 is you sign it. The EDD confirmed that you don't need to have, most of the time, you have an affidavit notarized. But the EDD confirmed that that's not necessary. If you do want to have it notarized, there's not going to be any harm in doing that. I know a lot of times a notary costs money. Mel, if you're in here, did you get the affidavit? I know your friend had it notarized. Did they get it done for free? Because another one of my friends told me that if you go to your bank, whoever you bank with, like Wells Fargo or Chase or Bank of America, if you go into that bank and ask them to notarize something for you, they may be able to do it for free. Otherwise, a notary costs about $20. But again, the EDD has said that you do not need to have it notarized. Okay. Audrey says, you were on 2020 PUA W-2, but didn't file for 2019. Is my only W-2 and 1099 sufficient? Yes, for proof of work, that would absolutely be sufficient. Even so those documents are definitely on the list of acceptable documents. However, even if it's not a full-on affidavit, I would include a paragraph saying exactly what you're sending to the EDD, right? Because let's face it, the EDD hasn't been able to figure things out very well. So anything that you can say or do that will help them understand why you're sending in what you sent in will be helpful. Now, I can't tell if those are not the dates that they're asking for from you. If you're going to submit something that is outside of the dates that they're asking for, again, send them like a little short paragraph about why you're not sending them the dates that they're asking for. I filed for unemployment in 2020, but I didn't file my taxes. So instead, I'm sending you X, Y, and Z. Even if the tax return, the W-2 and the 1099 that you're sending them is sufficient proof and it is from the timeline that they're asking for, I would still say, per your request to prove proof of employment or proof of self-employment, whichever it is in your situation, I am enclosing a 1099 from X company and a W-2 from Y company, which should establish that I was eligible to receive PUA benefits. Like, I would spell it out for them. This is what you asked for. This is what I'm sending that's on the list of acceptable documents, and therefore approve me. I would just really spell it out for them, and then I think you'll be okay. Okay, Edward says, you're doing good, just hanging in there with your family and being safe. Thank you so much. And I am, guys, of course, I will test with my friend from Sweden as soon as she gets here. And then I guess we're just going to quarantine. I think maybe we'll watch Christmas movies because I really wanted to see 8-Bit Christmas, but then my mom didn't want to come over for Christmas, so I didn't watch it. Mom, that's from the people that made the movie Elf. Elf is my mom's favorite Christmas movie, but my mom didn't want to come for Christmas. Guys, I'm doing something really fun for my mom for Christmas. You guys know I worked Christmas Day. I work in a movie theater. So I feel people that want to do the Great Resignation, right? People that are like, I want to spend time with my family. I do not want to be working anymore on Christmas. I 100% can relate. So my mom, and I saw my mom around Christmas, but I was so tired. And there was like, I think that was the day my roof was leaking. I don't even know. But I didn't have her present ready for her. But now I have an amazing present for her. It's so good. I want to tell you guys, but I can't. But I might make a video on it because it's really good. Mom, who didn't want to watch 8-Bit Christmas with me. But anyway, from the people that made Elf. But whatever. I'm not bitter. I don't know why my mom doesn't come live with me. She's always talking about being lonely, and she's always like, "Oh, but the senior center and my friends." That senior center has been closed for a while now, so she should just move in, and then she could permanently not be lonely. Me and Baby Yoda, like, will chill with her, but whatever. She doesn't want to move in. So anyway, let's see here. Okay, Diana says, my sister got declined. She sent 2 letters from each client plus an affidavit letter. She then sent copies of personal checks written to her, 16 checks, hoping for the best. So Diana, in that case, I hope you're still on. This comment is from 11/19. So I'm behind in the comments because I ramble. But Diana, please call them in that case because that should establish proof of employment. A lot of people are seeing their payments switched to disqualified or receiving letters that what they submitted did not meet the requirements, but it turns out it actually does. So I would just call them and see if they can reverse it over the phone. If for whatever reason they can't fix it over the phone, in that case, then I would file the appeal. And it might not hurt to file the appeal anyway, just to make sure that, like, I don't want anybody to miss the appeal deadline. But I have heard that the reps have been able to help people with that over the phone. Debbie, I think Bad Grandpa had some health problems, so I'm not sure he's able to drive right now, but I'm happy to see him in here. When you have a dependent on unemployment, it's better for taxes. Yeah, well, whenever you have a dependent, it's better for taxes all around. KAFLA. Oh, they put a pause on approving documents. He did say that. That's what you meant. Okay. So KAFLA TV, he works for an assembly member. He did say that, and I forgot that they had kind of taken a pause on approving those. So yeah, no news is good news. I got to write that down to follow up with him. I have a bunch of actual follow-up questions for a lot of various people. Okay. And next Monday, he's doing booster shots at the place where he works. Pause on approving PUA discount documents. Okay, we'll follow up with him and see how long and all of that. So maybe there is some truth when the reps are telling people that as long as you don't see your payment switch to disqualified, that's good news. Yeah. Okay. What is going on? Scream isn't doing good at my location. My location specializes mainly in independent and foreign films. So that's probably why. Do I get to meet a lot of stars at the movies with Q&As? Sometimes. The movie you saw last year was the new Matrix. Okay. Bring the little green guy to the tax audit. I don't know if I want to risk it. Okay. All right. I lost my place, so I'm going to read from kind of the bottom up and try and catch up that way. Okay, Diana. Oh, no, that's not going to make sense. Of course I answered you, Audrey. I try and get to everybody, and the chats are a little bit less crowded these days than they were when I first started doing this, so it's easier to get to everybody, luckily. Uh-oh. Do I have any update on Jenny? Is she feeling better? She seems to be. I know for several days, we are working on a project together and it's coming up soon. For several days, she had kind of taken a pause on responding. But now she seems to be like back at it on email and things like that. So it seems like she's feeling better. I did ask, I said, I hope you're feeling well, but she didn't really address that. She mentioned that she's, has to stay at home for a few more days. So I think maybe she's getting like stir crazy. Okay. Let's see here. Where am I? Okay. Sorry. Oh, you love Mr. B. I did not know about him until I started actually doing YouTube. I hadn't, I mean, like I had heard the name, but I just thought he did pranks. I thought he was like for like 9 to 14-year-olds. And that probably still is kind of his demographic, but I enjoy his videos too, especially like when he's giving away a house. I loved, of course, his Squid Game challenge. That was really good. Okay, so Audrey, are they expecting unemployed PUA 2021 to file? Probably. And again, there was a news article that they might do. California is expected to have a surplus in their budget at the end of 2021. So it's possible that they would use that money from the budget surplus to give us another Golden State stimulus. They have nothing confirmed yet. That's just one possibility. Some people are saying it might happen. Other people are saying it's unlikely that they would do that. But remember, in order to get that, you needed to file your taxes. And another reason to file your taxes, even if you didn't quite make enough, keep in mind when you eventually file for Social Security when you're old, they take all the like income based off your tax filings, I believe, to determine how much you're eligible for. You don't want years where your income is just $0, in my opinion. If you can avoid it, you want to have years where you're reporting income. So I would do it. Again, remember that there will be the standard deduction, or like if you're nervous about it and you don't really make enough to file, what you could do is kind of go through the tax software. You don't pay until at the end. So you could kind of put all your information in TurboTax or H&R Block, see how bad it's going to be. Like it'll be like your refund amount is this, or you owe that. So plug your numbers in and see what it turns out as. Maybe it's not going to be as bad as you think. Maybe you would actually still get a refund. That could be possible depending on some people's situations as well. Like if the 10% was too much, that could be that you still get a refund. And if they did do another Golden State stimulus, you would likely need to have filed your taxes in order to be eligible for it. So I do encourage you to file your taxes, even if you haven't quite met the threshold where you would have to. It's my opinion. And I'm not a financial advisor or a tax professional. So you do you. And again, you can kind of plug in your numbers to any of those programs before you actually get to any point where you would need to pay and kind of take it from there. PUA, they are not giving us a tax break for unemployment. how stressful this all is. It is a little bit. But again, it's out of our control. So we just have to, we have to do our best to control the things we can and like let the rest go. I'm working on that myself. Okay. JJ says, my California unemployment benefits are going to run out. Can I apply for emergency unemployment compensation? I don't think there's any emergency unemployment compensation. I think that there's a program through DPS, the Department of Social Services, where you might qualify for general relief. In your case, make sure that you're getting food stamps, CalFresh, SNAP, whatever you want to call it. Make sure that you're getting that. Also, make sure that you've applied for rent relief or rental assistance. They are still taking applications on that. The funding has not run out for that. I've had people say you have to practically be homeless in order to get approved for that. So if they say, are you at risk of experiencing homelessness? You would say something like this if this applies, because you want to be truthful. But you would say something like, the only reason why I've been able to keep up with my rent or my mortgage or whatever it is right now, well, rent relief and mortgage relief are different. But anyway, the only reason why I've been able to keep up with my rent so far is because I was receiving unemployment benefits. Now that my benefits have been depleted, I'm not going to be able to pay my rent anymore. And so if I don't get this assistance from you, then yes, I would be at risk of experiencing homelessness. So see if you qualify for general relief. I believe that's the same website that you sign up for food stamps at. And then try and get rent relief. Emergency unemployment compensation, to my knowledge, that was, some people were getting approved for like 1 week of pay and they were having to certify every week. Oftentimes the reps were able to release an emergency payment while they kind of figured things out, but I don't think that gives you any extra money. I don't think there's access to any extra funding. Michael, last week on a chat, I thought that if you filed a Schedule 2019C with a 344 net business income, that was okay. You notice on Jenny Silver's site, she thought that $400 was the minimum required. So I think, and it's hard in these chats, so I apologize if I got this wrong. You're required to file taxes on net self-employment income if you make more than $400. So that part's correct, but that's for taxes. So I guess I was under the impression that you were talking about what you were going to send to the EDD. So I was working under the impression that you were going to like file your 2019 Schedule C with the $343 net income to the EDD as your proof of employment. So maybe I misunderstood that. So you wouldn't be required to file taxes, but even though you're not required to, you certainly could. In your case, if you're doing it solely for providing proof to the EDD, you could consider submitting all of the documents that make it so that you know that you had $343 in net business income, but legally you wouldn't be required to file taxes since it's less than 400, but you can choose to file as well. So it's kind of up to you, like what purpose you're using that for. Are you going to file a 2019 Schedule C so that you can then submit your Schedule C to the EDD? If that's your main reason, you're already kind of really late on filing the 2019 taxes, so you might want to try submitting the other documents that helped you come up with the $343 figure and submitting that to the EDD and seeing if they accept it. And then if not, filing your taxes, because I'm not sure what the fees are for filing your taxes late. If you just want to file your taxes, again, if you report that money, then that's 1 year towards your Social Security where there won't be a zero for that year, which I tend to think is a good thing. So I would, depending on how much it cost, right? Um, and if you're worried that what you have that helped you come up with that $343 figure isn't sufficient to give to the EDD, and you just want the peace of mind of sending in the Schedule C because you know that's a like kind of a more solid document, a more preferred document, then that certainly, if that helps give you peace of mind, you can't put a price on that, right? Then that might be worth going back and filing the 2019 taxes. It's really going to be up to you and the reason why you're wanting to do that at this point. Okay. Audrey, they want 2021 1099. The tax people will. Yes. Yes, they will. And if you guys, hold on. If you guys got any child tax care credits, hold on. I'm going to look it up. They also are going to need you to report that as well. Where in the heck is this? Where are you? Of course, I screenshotted it and then, okay. COVID tax tips, 2022 to 03. 2022 to 03. Anyway, whatever. January 5th, 2022. This is from the IRS website. The IRS started issuing information letters to advanced child care tax credit recipients in December. Recipients of the third round of the economic impact payments will begin receiving information letters at the end of January. Using the information in these letters when preparing a tax return can reduce errors and delays in processing. And then in bold, people receiving these letters should keep them. Do not throw them away. These letters can help taxpayers or their tax professional prepare their 2021 federal tax return. So, if you got any of those, they're also wanting you to report that on your taxes, so that they know how much of a refund you're going to get or how much they owe you. It is possible that even though there's no tax forgiveness, that you could still wind up with a refund depending on your individual situation. So, but yes, they're going to want, the IRS is going to want you to file taxes. Okay, Quan, what does out of sequence mean? Regular UI. I don't know. Normally jobs do send letter offers. I keep everything. Yeah, but sometimes too, like it really depends on the job. A lot of times we didn't used to send the welcome packet, right? But then people would forget, oh, I forgot to bring my driver's license. Oh, I forgot to wear black shoes. Oh, I forgot what time you told me to come in. And then we were like, we need to send people an email. So that way they have it in writing. It's best to get everything you can in writing. So it's completely possible that the job offer won't be in writing or the start date won't be in writing or that was all done verbally. You could have submitted an application. If you handed that in person and they called you back off of that and just said, oh, okay, you'll start next Monday. That's possible as well. It just depends on how professionally the company that you applied for was run. Debbie, on 2020 tax issue 10,200, waiver was issued March last time and finally implemented in April. So stand by for federal help in this regard. Jenny says, do not plan on this. Yeah, and Shelly also says, don't plan on that. So last year, what was going on is everything was still largely shut down. We were still most of us were still being told to stay home. They were still trying to get things under control. And we knew that was something that the Democrats were pushing for in the stimulus package, that the first one that Biden signed. This year, there's no talk of that. And it seems like the Republican senators And the moderate Democratic senators, they don't want to do it. They don't want to give that forgiveness. So there's not even like a whisper of it this year. Is it possible? Sure, like anything's possible, but it is very, very, very unlikely. At this point last year, I was recommending people to hold off on filing their taxes, to wait and see what would happen. That way you wouldn't be like waiting, oh, for my unemployment refund. That way you would be sorry, I got distracted by the numbers in the corner. Welcome everybody, and please take a minute and like the video. That way, if you filed your taxes after they had made the decision, then the computing software would be up to date and current. But this year, they really aren't even talking about it. I haven't heard a mention, not a peep, not a news article. I don't think that would be possible. So I don't see any reason to wait to file your taxes this year. This year, probably just rip it off like a Band-Aid and get it out of the way. That would be my advice. Okay. Ready for the World says it looks like the 1099s are now available online. OMG, everybody, please check yours. This is awesome. Yes, the 1099Gs are available on your UI Online account. So please check that. Osvaldo, will I be going live tomorrow? Absolutely. I already have the thumbnail and everything planned. I go live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. and Monday at 9 p.m. tomorrow in honor of what would have been Betty White's 100th birthday. Everything that I make from the video, it's going to be a fundraiser for Guide Dogs for the Blind because I'm doing the Betty White Challenge. PUA says, do you have a link for the 1099? Please post that link. It should just be like once you log on. Less is more. You went to the UPS. It was $13 to $15. For what? I'm confused. What was, for the getting it notarized. So at UPS, you had your affidavit notarized and it was about $15. And yes, saying less to the EDD, like I haven't seen this come up recently, but a lot of people were like, well, my brother was going to hire me at his air conditioning company, but business slowed down. People weren't able to afford upgrades or to, keep their equipment running. So they weren't hiring to have their air conditioning fixed as much. Do I need to report it was my brother? No, just report it's like whatever the name of your brother's company is. If your brother's company is called Brother Millions, you just put it's Brother Millions. Like you don't put like, oh, this was my brother and he was don't do that. Just the company, you don't need to tell them it's family. They don't care. Significant other. No, just this was who was going to hire me. They didn't. Please pay me. Like don't go into all the details. It's going to confuse them. It's going to trip you up. Just state the facts. Here's where I was going to work. This is the day I was going to start. They were not able to hire me. Do state that it was because of the pandemic and state why they won't write the affidavit for you, like they closed or they're just not comfortable doing it. You can't get a hold of them. Whatever it is, just state those facts, but don't go into like too many details. Okay. Oops, shoot. Scrolling. Hi, Hannah Living Blast. You want to know what we need from the EDD as far as tax and income tax. Are they going to send us a paper? You probably mean W-2. And I'm not sure what exactly. I'm not sure if they're going to do paper. And I'm not sure when they asked us if we wanted to receive it online versus a paper version. Last year they did, and I chose online because I thought it would get there faster. And then people who received paper 1099s actually got them faster. But this year, it looks like the 1099Gs are available online right now. So log on to your UI Online account. Okay, and I'm glad Diana stayed in to hear the answer. Randeep, what to claim on W-2 as an AFA Joe? I don't know what that is. What to claim on your W-2. So on your taxes, you report the money that you received from the EDD on your 1040 or your 1040 EZ or whatever tax form you use to file. There's a place to report the unemployment money that you received. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, Diana, your friend filed the appeal, and that's when she sent the 16 personal checks. That's fine as well. Um, and a lot of times, what they're saying is that once they receive the additional documentation that is sent in with the appeal, oftentimes then they no longer even need to go through the appeal hearing. So I really think that they just made a mistake in your friend's case, and that especially with the 16 canceled checks or the 16 personal checks, I really think that they will go ahead and reverse that decision. If they don't, with the additional documentation, then you'll have the hearing, and it seems pretty clear cut to me the way you explained it. So it should be pretty clear cut to the judge, and hopefully they'll then decide in her favor. Newsom said we'll hear more in April or May about the budget surplus and more Golden State stimulus checks. That would be nice. Okay. You guys are all welcome for the help. Michael, you filed your 2019 Schedule C like a year ago. Just wondering if EDD has a oh no, EDD does not have a rule of over 400. So the 400 that Jenny's talking about, so you wouldn't have necessarily had to have filed your 2019 Schedule C. I'm glad that you did. I think that was personally, that's what I would have done. It's just easier, and it'll show some income towards, your golden years when you're retiring. You won't have a year with 0 wages, which I think is good. So one day maybe I'll make a video on that. They count your 35 highest working years. So you just don't want years with 0 for sure. And then if you work more than 35 years, they don't count your lowest earning years towards your Social Security benefit. And I do encourage everybody to try and max out the amount of Social Security income you're going to get. That's what really scared me personally about this pandemic. It shows how unprepared we are to live off of the bare minimum that the government gives us to survive. So I want to, going forward, I am going to be giving you guys tips and sharing how to set yourself up for a secure financial future. So, because I love my mom, but that's where she's at. She's just living off of like the minimum monthly payment for the government, and it's hard. She would like me to tell everybody she can afford to put air in her tires. But if she needs 4 new tires and a pair of shoes, it's a struggle. It stresses her out, right? And we don't want to do that. So she's okay though. But when that stuff happens, it's definitely a life stress. So yeah, EDD did not have a rule that you needed to make X number of dollars to qualify. As a matter of fact, I mean, many, many, many businesses, especially when you're self-employed, especially that first year, they actually operate at a loss. Even sometimes when you've been in business for many years. I'm not convinced that my employer is profitable this year, but he's a billionaire, so it doesn't matter. But so this portion of his business, I think, I haven't seen all the numbers, but I think they're operating at a loss. So he could say, hey, I lost $1 million, my employer, on my business. There were probably self-employed individuals that had big businesses that lost $100,000, when they're first starting. If your business needs a lot of, if you paid for construction for a building, for your office building, I don't know everybody's situation. It's probably not most of us. That's okay. But it's really common for businesses to operate at a loss their first year. And then if you're someone like my billionaire owner, you use the business that's losing money to offset the taxes on the businesses that are profitable. So, yeah, no requirement. And PS, guys, like the CEO of a company, if they had $1 million salary, but they were suddenly unemployed, they would be eligible for benefits. And it's kind of crazy. But anyway, so yeah, the EDD didn't have a rule. You just needed to be self-employed. Your business could have operated at a loss and you would still qualify for the funds. It's the same reason why people who only had a job offer, but they hadn't actually begun work yet, they qualified as well. So again, that would be a situation where they didn't have any income at all. or they hadn't even started working yet, but they still qualified for PUA benefits. Okay, Audrey, you're welcome. You're going to watch my video on how to upload. The EDD offered 2021 1099 paperless. So do you think I'm set on that? Thanks. I'm guessing that's what they did. I'm guessing they just sent it electronically to the people that wanted it electronically last year. And yeah, then you should be set. EDD has it already, so you don't need to upload it. Yeah, they should have it. I can't remember the section on that, and I'm locked out. I should try and get unlocked out, but we're already at an hour and 10 minutes. Maybe I'll hop on again later today if I unlock it, and I'll tell you guys exactly where to go. L25, I might have skipped your question, but you can go ahead and ask it again. Oh, here we go. Oh, maybe I didn't get to it. Let me do JJ's and then L25, I see yours down below. Okay, your Bank of America EDD account got hacked. You filed a claim. They rejected the credit adjustment. What should I do? Should I report to California EDD? Will they transfer my missing benefits to my Bank of America card? So I think you're going to need to request a new card. They hopefully will issue new payments. I would get your assembly member involved in that. That sounds like a mess. I don't know why they would have rejected your credit adjustment. That's really awful, and I'm really sorry that happened to you. I think at this point, getting the help of your assembly member, and I have that linked, it's in the pinned comment up at the top of the chat. I think that's gonna be your best bet on getting that resolved. Okay, L25, you've had symptoms from the vaccine, and then from having it. You've been to the ER multiple times and you don't feel comfortable going back to work. I'm not employed. Can I file for anything? So there's not benefits for that. If you caught it at work, there would be something called exclusion pay. Also, I believe that California needs to pay for time to get the shot, and they need to pay if you have symptoms from getting the shot, about 2 days worth of pay. So it's not a lot. That would all be from your employer. And then, of course, if you're having help with food, if you need help with food, you could apply for food stamps, CalFresh, SNAP. It's all really the same program. Just people call it different things, or also rent relief. But in terms of actual cash, probably not. Maybe you would qualify for general relief. That would be on the same website that you apply for food stamps. Pamela, they sent you your W-2 already. That is awesome. Summer, I skipped Summer's question. Can you answer it again? Dang it. I'm sorry. Please ask it again. Okay. Ron, how much you concern on uploading to EDD so much personal information? Bank statements, personal checks over the internet, and a security unsafe online platform. I don't have an answer for that. I mean, I think that we do so much business online these days. I think that the EDD's website is secure as anybody else's. Um, I think I think that's just like a risk that we all take with the way society functions today. We got asked that a lot about Claimer. Is Claimer listening in when you're giving your social security number? Is Claimer, are they fake? Is it safe to use? And yeah, they are like as safe as any online business. If you've used Amazon, I mean, granted, Amazon probably has like lots of money to make sure that their security is really safe. But I'm always getting letters like, "Your password has been compromised, update your password." Like, it's just like that's the society we live in, we can't live in fear of that kind of thing. They're asking you to upload it. With personal checks, I didn't even realize this for a long time. On the bottom of your personal checks, it's got your routing number and your account number right on there. So, if you give a personal check to the weird guy that you let paint your house that you don't know, he's got your account number. Like it's so easy if you throw out your mail, but you don't shred it. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't worry about that. I would just send them what they need. I mean, try and do your best to protect your information, but like you can't let that stop you from submitting the things that they need. And it's a government website. It should be pretty safe. Um, yeah. Annie says, your sister used my video to make the affidavit and did not get it notarized, and you both got approved. Well, you didn't at first, but you called and you got it reversed. Okay. This is why I still love making videos. I love to hear that it helped people. I went viral on TikTok about exclusion pay, which is kind of extra COVID sick pay that many employers don't know about. And I like to think that everybody's doing good. And I don't mean to insinuate like employers don't know, but like I just know that like, you know, um, Baby Yoda over there in the HR department on Shelly's Millions, whoever the HR head is, maybe they're in charge of California and Washington and Texas and New York, and every state, the rules are different. And it seems like every few weeks, the information's changing, something's getting expanded, the kind of masks you have to give your employees or that you have to require them to wear is changing. Um, it just changes so much. I think it's a lot for any employer to keep up with. So I'm not calling any employers dumb or anything like that. I'm trying to sympathize with the employer side. I know it's been a lot for me to keep up with. I think a lot of employers don't know about exclusion pay, which is for California. If you caught it in the workplace or get exposed in the workplace, they ask you to stay home, which they need to ask you to stay home if you've been exposed or if you test positive. But if you think you caught it from your place of employment, they owe you something called exclusion pay. And I think a lot of people don't know about it. Even when I was doing my research, the Cal OSHA ETS, the emergency temporary standard, got extended through April of 2022, April 14th of 2022. But it's really hard to find. Like, if you Google, "Is exclusion pay still available?" You're gonna find articles saying that it expired, but it didn't. It's still in effect. But people have told me, "Hey, I showed the links that you told me to my employer, and they paid me." So that makes me happy. When Prince Ali tells me that he is paying less money on his car because I suggested going through a credit union to refinance, that really brings me joy. I really like being able to help you guys, especially to help put you guys in even if it's just a slightly better financial situation. That really makes me happy, or to get the money that you deserve, even if it doesn't improve your financial situation. But I'm so, so glad that you used the affidavit video and that it worked. Thank you for letting me know that. Um, I'm sorry that it initially didn't work, but I'm glad they fixed it with a phone call. Angry says, you're a freelance videographer who has a few contracts from 2019 and more from 2020. My tax returns stuff for 2019 and 2020, emails between me and clients, and an affidavit. Is that enough? Yes, it is. So I would include like the affidavit, just a statement about what you're sending them. I would say on page, I'm including my tax returns on page 2. Don't send them every email. You could say, I also am including 2 emails from clients. Like, don't send them like a crazy amount of stuff, because really just the tax returns alone should be enough. Um, but yeah, I would send at least a paragraph with the statements. You might not even have to include any emails. That's up to you. Maybe just one, but again, really keep it simple. So in the affidavit, really you're just going to say, "Hey, here's my proof of self-employment. I am including my tax returns for 2019 as well as 2020. And here is an email of a canceled job I was going to do. This should prove my eligibility to receive PUA unemployment benefits. Thank you so much. Angry K. Wheelie. Kenneth, you feel bad the EDD is making PUA pay their claims back. I hope will appeal and also claim severe pandemic hardship. I do too. One of my viewers sent me an article and it broke my heart because every person that spoke to this news article honestly, if they would just watch my affidavit video, I really feel like they'd be okay. And it's so crazy because you guys have been here with me and Jenny as we've gone through the pandemic and been on unemployment with you guys and pivoted our careers in some cases. But that video has 20,000 views. That's such a drop in the bucket in comparison to the people that need the information. Even Jenny Silver's, like her most viewed video, I think has around 100,000 views. It might be more now. She's amazing. She's getting out that information. But even 100,000 views, when you think about how many people, because it's just only 1.4 million people were asked to provide proof of self-employment, PUA employment. Some people had already done it, so they weren't asked to do it, and that doesn't include any of the traditional people on unemployment. It was close to I think it was close to 14 million in California alone at one point. So, these videos are a drop in the bucket. Many people do not think of going to YouTube to get unemployment information, and I wish that for the people that had received overpayment notices, I want so bad to, like, figure out their last names and be like, "Hey, watch this video, do this step." So you guys, it's really important to share these videos, share it on your social media. If you think it will help anybody, share the link on Facebook and say, "Hey, if any of my friends and family or my coworkers, you know, still need to provide this proof of employment or proof of self-employment, this is a really helpful video." It's just not circulating the way it needs to help the number of people that still need help. But it is really sad, and I hope that they forgive it as well. Okay, summer. Is it too late to get the $600 stimulus check if I didn't do my amendment back in October? That's what the guy said from the state of California over the phone. So is that true? So it shouldn't be an amendment, right? Unless that lowered your income. So you did need to file by October 15th was the deadline to file the taxes or to make any changes. So yeah, October 15th, you needed to make those changes in order to be eligible for the $600. I do believe he gave you correct information on that, unfortunately. Um, if you do wanna try calling back and seeing if you can speak to a supervisor or emailing your assembly member, they might be able to help. Claimer is now calling, both the franchise tax board as well as the IRS, as well as the EDD line for state disability, and I have the discount link pinned up above. On that, though, on your situation, I probably wouldn't spend the money. I would reach out to your assembly member on that. "Hi, Pamela. You qualified for a new claim after the boost and everything and all those other extensions. Can I file a regular extension in March?" So there's not really a regular extension. When your benefit year ends, you can try to file a new claim. So it wouldn't be an extension. If when your claim ends in March, you can try and file another new claim, but in order to qualify, you would need to have attachment to the workforce again. So between March of 2021, when you first filed in March of 2022, when this claim ends, you would have needed to have some work from a W-2 employer, some payment from a W-2 employer within that time frame in order to qualify again. Then you would need to also meet the earnings requirements, which is $1,300 in your highest earnings quarter. And on top of that, the reason why you're no longer with that employer would need to be through no fault of your own. L25. Can I file for unemployment if I work seasonal and you were laid off? It says voluntary separation. Yes, that a voluntary separation is actually a really good reason. That means that your employer checked the box saying that it wasn't your fault they let you go. It was seasonal. You know, it was voluntary, meaning you weren't fired, right? So that should actually be good, and that should be a reason that you could file a new claim. What's going on with my hair today? Keep moving. It's a tangly mess. Okay. At the bottom of the affidavit, put what you're submitting. Yes. Like put on page 2, I'm submitting my tax returns. On page 3, I am submitting emails between me and clients that had to cancel the jobs. Yes, I forgot to say that. Okay, Angry says, excellent, thank you. My info is so helpful. It's keeping you from, yeah, try not to worry, you guys. I love you guys. So all the hearts. I don't want to worry. I want to help you get the money that you deserve. I want to help you get the money you're owed and have a better financial future. Okay. And either my thing's not scrolling or that was the last question at 12:21. So, guys, tomorrow join me by tomorrow I will have figured out exactly where you need to go to see your 1099-G and to download it and print it so that you can do your taxes. I'll figure out which section exactly that's on the EDD website. And tomorrow's going to be the Betty White Challenge. Tomorrow night, Monday, January 17th at 9 p.m. I'll be going live, and everything that I make from that video, I'm going to donate to Guide Dogs for the Blind. If I get like a crazy amount of money, maybe I'll pick like a second charity as well. Anyway, everything that I make will go to charity for the Betty White Challenge. That's tomorrow night at 9. Okay, can't believe EDD is still a hot topic in January of 2022. I know, Kenneth. I know. All right, so I will see you guys tomorrow for the Betty White Challenge at 9 p.m. Thank you guys so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I'll see you next time.